The wheels of the stagecoach groaned as they rolled over the rough Wyoming dirt road. Every sharp jolt made Anna Whitmore grip her sleeping son tighter. Tommy's warm face rested against her shoulder as dust drifted through the window. Anna stared out at the wide, empty land stretching in all directions. It felt like she was watching her old life slip farther and farther away. Only 3 months ago she had been a seamstress in a crowded Boston room. Every penny she earned vanished as soon as it reached her hands. Hope was something she whispered at night, never something she lived. Now she sat on a stagecoach headed toward Bitter Creek Station to marry a man she had never met. A mail-order bride with her whole life packed into one trunk, 2 small bags, and a truth she feared might cost her everything. "Ma'am," the driver called. "We'll reach Bitter Creek in about an hour. Your Mr. Mallister should be waiting there." Anna pressed her hand over the letter in her pocket. She had read Colt Mallister's words so many times the paper had softened. His handwriting was uneven but steady. He needed a wife. She needed a home. It should have been simple. But she had hidden one thing. Tommy. Anna looked at her son. 6 years old, gentle, curious, quick to smile. He had his father's dark hair, but none of that man's anger. Tommy deserved a good life, a safe life, a life better than the one she had escaped. Outside, the land rolled in red rock and gray sage, nothing like the green hills back east. This place felt honest and wild, the kind of land where secrets could not hide for long. "First time in Wyoming," a warm voice asked. Anna looked across the coach. A preacher sat opposite her, his coat dusty but his eyes kind. "Yes, sir," she said, straightening her simple dress. "I'm meeting my husband." The word felt strange. She had been married before, but that felt like another woman's life. A woman who trusted lies and forgave too much. "Many folks come west looking for a new start," the preacher said. "Takes a brave heart to begin again." Brave. Anna wasn't sure she was brave at all. Would he still think so if he knew she had only $17? If he knew she feared Colt would take one look at Tommy and send them away? The coach crested a hill. Bitter Creek Station came into view. A handful of small buildings stood huddled against the open land. Anna's breath caught. Somewhere down there was the man she had promised to marry. The coach stopped. Anna stepped down with shaky legs and lifted Tommy into her arms as a few men turned to stare. The air was thick with dust and tension. "Mrs. Whitmore," a deep voice said behind her. Anna turned and froze. Colt Mallister stood tall and broad, blocking out half the sun. His shoulders were wide, his beard thick, and a pale scar marked one eyebrow. His gray eyes held a quiet strength she did not expect. His clothes were worn but clean, the kind of clothes a hard-working man lived in. "Oh," Anna said softly. "Mr. Mallister," Colt said with a small nod. Then his gaze went to Tommy. Anna felt her heart twist. This was the moment she had feared since she left Boston. "I must tell you," she said quickly. "This is my son Tommy. I did not mention him in my letters. I feared you might turn us away." Colt looked at Tommy, then at Anna again. For a long moment he said nothing, then his voice came low and gentle. "The boy is part of you." Anna nodded. "Yes." A faint, warm smile touched Colt's eyes. He knelt down so he could look Tommy in the eye. "Hello, Tommy," he said. "I'm Colt. How old are you?" Tommy's voice came small. "6, sir." "6 is a fine age," Colt said. "Old enough to learn to ride if you want to." Tommy's eyes widened. "Really?" "That's right," Colt said, then looked at Anna again. "The boy is part of you." "So he's part of me now. That's how it is." Anna's breath trembled. She had not expected kindness. For the first time since leaving Boston, hope touched her heart. "Thank you," she whispered. Colt stood and lifted her trunk as if it weighed nothing. Men nearby watched him with caution. They whispered. They stared at his scar. They stepped aside when he walked past, giving him space. "Mama," Tommy whispered. "Is he a giant?" Anna gave a small smile. "Hush," she said softly. Colt helped her mount a gentle horse named Rosie. Tommy rode beside him in the wagon, asking questions about horses, jackrabbits, and the faraway mountains. "It feels so empty out here," Anna said quietly as they traveled. "Not empty," Colt answered, "just honest." She wondered if he meant the land or himself. But Anna did not yet know that the hardest part of her new life was waiting at Barren Ridge Ranch. Barren Ridge Ranch tested Anna in ways she never expected. The land was beautiful, but it was also wild and demanding. The house stood strong with thick log walls and a wide porch that looked out over miles of open fields. But once she stepped inside, Anna realized this life was different from anything she had ever known. She tried her best to settle in. She washed clothes by hand until her fingers ached. She worked the wood-burning stove that either burned too hot or went out too fast. She scalded her hand, trying to pump water from the stubborn well. And when she tried gathering eggs, she was chased by an angry red hen Tommy had already named Mrs. Angry. Every night she lay awake thinking Colt must see her as clumsy and foolish, but he never raised his voice. Not once. When the biscuits burned, he ate the parts that were not black. When the stew nearly caught fire, he showed her how to bank the flame so it simmered slow and steady. "Takes time to learn," was all he ever said. Tommy adjusted even faster. Within days, he was Samuel's shadow. Samuel, the old ranch hand with rough skin and even rougher humor, let Tommy trail behind him while he worked. He taught him how to feed the chickens, how to sweep the porch, how to watch the sky for changing weather. Anna often found the two of them sitting on the porch at sunset, Samuel whittling and Tommy staring in awe like he was watching magic. Colt was gone most of the day, working fences, feeding cattle, breaking colts, and fixing anything that needed fixing. Anna watched him from the window sometimes, his powerful figure moving across the ranch with quiet purpose. When he came home, he was gentle with Tommy, patient in a way that made Anna's fears loosen a little. But with her, he stayed careful, respectful, kind, yet distant. They slept in separate rooms. He gave her the larger room and took the smaller one for himself. Tommy slept on a cot at the foot of her bed. Some nights, Anna heard Colt's heavy boots pause outside her door before he walked away again. She didn't know if she felt disappointed or relieved. One afternoon, Colt came home early leading a young black horse with a white star on its head. A mare not fully trained yet. Tommy ran from the chicken coop, eyes wide. "Is she ours?" Tommy asked. "She's ours," Colt said. "But she needs trust before she can be ridden." Anna leaned against the porch railing as she watched Colt work with the mare. Every move he made was calm. He spoke softly. He never pulled the reins hard or raised his voice. His large hands could be gentle, patient. It was the first time she saw him truly smile. "She likes him," Tommy whispered. "He's teaching her to be brave." Anna understood how Colt had accepted them so easily. Maybe he saw them the same way he saw that horse, nervous, unsure, afraid, needing time. That night, after dinner, Tommy fell asleep on a rug near the fire. Anna moved to lift him, but Colt stopped her. "I'll carry him," he said. She watched as Colt lifted the sleeping boy with careful hands, holding him close as he walked up the stairs. Something warm settled in Anna's chest. It wasn't love. Not yet, but it was the beginning of trust. Days passed. A week later, Anna made her first trip to town. Colt stayed behind to fix a leak in the roof, so Samuel drove her. She wore her best dress, a navy wool one she had cleaned and pressed carefully. She held her chin high when she walked into the general store. But whispers started immediately. "That's Mallister's new wife," one woman murmured. "Heard she brought a child with her," another said. "Gossip says he ain't even Colt's," a third added. Anna ignored them and stepped to the counter. Vernon Pratt, the shop owner, offered her a slow, sly smile. "Mrs. Mallister," he said. "So nice to meet a lady from Boston." "Yes, sir," Anna said evenly. "Quite the journey for a widow like yourself." She stayed quiet, and her silence encouraged more cruelty. Mrs. Pratt stepped forward, tall and sharp-featured. "Mail-order bride, aren't you?" she said. "Quite the modern tale." Anna stiffened. "I wrote to my husband that I was a widow. That part is true. And yes, I chose to come west." "And you brought a boy," Mrs. Pratt said with a thin smile. "Did Mr. Mallister agree to that?" "He did," Anna said firmly. "Kindly, too." Mrs. Pratt sniffed. Most men would think twice before taking on another man's son. Anna paid for her goods and walked out with her head high but her heart shaken. Why did it matter to these strangers that Tommy existed? Why did they hate Colt? What had he done to make an entire town stare at him with fear? On the ride home, she asked Samuel, the one man who always spoke true. "What do people say about Mr. Mallister?" Samuel chewed on a piece of straw for a long moment. "They say he's dangerous. They say he has a temper. They say he near killed a man once." Anna felt cold. "Did he?" Samuel hesitated. "He did what he thought was right. That ain't the same as been right." "What happened?" Anna whispered. "Not my story to tell," Samuel said. "But listen close. Colt's the best man I ever knew. Men ain't measured by what they done. They're measured by what they carry." That night, Anna found Colt sitting by the fire after Tommy went to bed. Shadows danced across his quiet face. She stepped closer. "Colt," she said softly, "what happened 5 years ago?" His gray eyes lifted to hers. For a moment, she thought he would answer. "Not tonight," he said, "but soon. You deserve the whole truth." Then he walked up the stairs and left her standing in the firelight. Anna's heart tightened. Colt had taken on her son. He had given her shelter. He had offered her peace. But he carried something dark, something that stood between them like a wall. She would wait for the truth. But not forever. Days passed after Anna's unsettling trip to town, and though life settled back into a rhythm, something new hung in the air. Something quiet, but heavy. Colt worked as he always did, steady and strong, but his eyes carried a weight she had not noticed before. Anna sensed it each time he paused near her or lingered in the doorway before turning away. Then one evening, as the cold autumn wind rattled the windows, Colt finally broke the silence. "Let's walk," he said after dinner. Anna wrapped a shawl around her shoulders and followed him under a sky thick with stars. They walked toward the creek, the night full of the sound of wind brushing over the grass. Colt led her to a small clearing with a simple wooden bench. It faced the mountains and the narrow stream that ran through the land. It looked like a place built for memories. "This was Margaret's spot," Colt said in a low voice. "My sister?" Anna's breath caught. She sat beside him quietly. "When our parents died, she was 12. I was 22. I thought I could keep her safe," he said. "I thought she was safe working at the Dalton Ranch." His jaw tightened. "I was wrong." Colt stared at the mountains, his voice shaking with old pain. "Their son, Robert," he said. "He hurt her. Not once. For months. She was too scared to tell me. When she finally did, I snapped." Anna's heart ached at the rawness in his voice. "I found him in town," Colt said. "I beat him until they dragged me off him. I would have killed him if they didn't stop me." He drew a deep breath. "They gave me 2 years in territorial prison. While I was locked up, Margaret passed. They said it was pneumonia, but I know she died of a broken heart." Anna covered her mouth with her hand as grief washed over him. "I lost her," Colt whispered, "and when I got out, I swore I'd never care that much again." Anna stepped closer. Her voice trembled. "You didn't fail her. You fought for her." Colt shook his head. "You and that boy, you both make me feel things I buried long ago." Anna reached for his hand. "You opened your home to us. You opened your heart. Tommy already loves you. And I," her voice faltered. "I'm starting to." Colt cupped her cheek with a gentle hand. His touch was warm. "You don't have to say anything before you're ready," he said. But she leaned into his hand, letting the fear of her past fade for the first time. That night, Anna did not sleep alone. There was no fear, no darkness, only patience, trust, a slow and quiet closeness she had never known before. In Colt's arms, she felt safe. The next morning, the world felt new. But peace in the West never lasted long. A week later, Judd Baxter rode into their yard. He was the richest landowner in the county, with a crooked grin that made Anna's skin crawl. He had tried buying Barren Ridge Ranch many times, but Colt had refused him. Now he arrived with 3 men behind him, hands close to their holsters. "Mallister," Baxter said with a smirk, "got news for you. County's putting your land up for auction. Seems you're behind on taxes." "That's not true," Anna snapped. "We paid them last month." "Funny," Baxter said. "Records don't show that." Colt stiffened beside Anna. "I want your water rights," Baxter went on. "Sell now and I'll pay double." "This is robbery," Anna said. "Call it what you want. The law is on my side," Baxter replied. "By the way, sorry about that barn that burned last night. Terrible accident." Colt took a step forward, rage burning in his eyes, but Anna grabbed his arm. "He wants you to lose your temper," she whispered. "He wants the sheriff to drag you back to prison." Baxter laughed. "Smart woman, Mallister." "We're not selling," Anna said. Her voice was steady. "Not now. Not ever." Baxter's smile dropped. "Then you'll regret it." He rode off, leaving the ranch in cold silence. The trouble came fast. Their fences were cut. Their horses were stolen, their creek clogged with silt. Tommy woke from nightmares crying. Samuel kept watch at night with a rifle. As the tax deadline approached, their hope grew thin. "We should send Tommy away," Colt said one night. His voice cracked. "It's not safe for him here." Anna turned. "And what about me?" "You stay with me," Colt said, "but I won't risk the boy's life." They packed Tommy's small things. Anna hugged him tight as he clung to her neck. "I'll be good, Mama," he whispered. "Tell Rosie, I'll come back." Anna nodded through the ache in her chest. 3 days remained. They were still $100 short. Anna rode to town alone. She begged for help. She offered to work. She sold the last thing she owned, her wedding band from her first marriage. The women in town turned their backs. The banker laughed. The sheriff shrugged. Anna returned home with empty hands and a broken heart. Later that night, Anna sat beside Colt in the quiet kitchen. "There's nothing left," she said. "Maybe we should take Baxter's offer." "No," Colt said firmly. "We don't let that man win." "But what about Tommy?" Anna whispered. "How long can we run?" Colt looked down. "I failed, Margaret. I won't fail you." At dawn, a hard knock sounded at the door. Colt grabbed his rifle. But it wasn't Baxter. It was Pete Morrison, a young ranch hand from the Dalton Ranch. His face was pale. His hands shook. "This is money," he said, handing Colt a leather pouch. $90. All I've got." Colt frowned. "Why?" Pete swallowed hard. "Because I knew Margaret. She was kind. She didn't deserve what happened. And I did nothing. I've regretted it every day since." Baxter broke her. "I can't bring her back. But I can help you fight." Colt took the money with shaking hands. That night, the taxes were paid. But Baxter was not done. 2 days later, Sheriff Morris arrived and arrested Colt for assault and threats against a landowner. All lies written by Baxter. Anna tried to stop them. "Please, he's innocent." "Sorry," the sheriff said. "Baxter owns half this town." Colt looked back at her as the cuffs closed around his wrists. "I'll get you out," Anna whispered. "I believe you," Colt said softly. Later that day, Baxter rode into the yard with a victorious grin. "You think you won," he said. Anna stepped toward him, eyes fierce. "Not yet," she said, "and not ever." 3 days later, Colt returned home. Pete Morrison and Samuel had given testimony to the sheriff. Baxter was exposed for fraud, theft, and corruption. His own men turned their backs. The banker confessed. The town finally saw the truth. Baxter was arrested. On the day he was taken away on the prison wagon, Anna, Tommy, and Colt stood together on the porch, side by side, unbroken. That night, Anna lay beside Colt as Tommy slept in his own room. "I was wrong," Anna whispered, placing her hand on Colt's chest. "This wasn't just a second chance for me. It was for you, too." Colt kissed her hair. "You saved me." "No," Anna said. "We saved each other." Spring came. New life grew in the land and in Anna's belly. Tommy laughed again, helping Samuel train young colts. Neighbors came to help rebuild the barn. Bit by bit, the town changed its heart. A year later, a baby girl was born. They named her Margaret Hope. When Tommy held her in his arms with Colt's hands steady on his shoulder, Anna knew with certainty that miracles did happen in the Wild West. Sometimes hope did not arrive in a grand way. Sometimes it came on a dusty stagecoach with a tired woman and her little boy. And sometimes it grew into a family stronger than anything the land could break.